Hi, it's Mr. Beast, and I've got maybe 200 books that I need to sort through because I'm moving soon. That's not very exciting, is it? Hi, I'm MT. That stands for moving time. That intro is getting dorkier and dorkier with each time I try it, but whatever, it's a bit. We're sticking with it. I'm very committed, I guess. Mm. What I'm not committed to is every book I buy. That's a great segue. Anyways, today I just want to talk through some of the books that I've been considering getting rid of. I have a bin here of books that I've decided to finally let go of. So that's great because I'm moving soon, as stated earlier. And that means I shouldn't be lugging around so many books, especially in this new age where we can have audiobooks and go to the library, not even pay a dime on some of these books, wink. So, yeah, I'm trying to do better at consuming. I'm trying to do more reading, less consuming. And I think what will help with that is flushing some books out of my system that I have in my inventory. And yeah, we're just gonna walk through some of these books, starting with City of Brass. I read this in a little book club with some people, and I think for the most part we kind of all enjoyed it. I was kind of like, I like this. But there are so many fantasy series that I want to get into that I'm currently getting into, and so I have to make decisions here. Like, that's a lot of mental real estate to have a epic fantasy in your brain, and especially a lot of them at once. That's kind of a lot. So I liked this. Maybe I'll pick it back up in the future, this series, but I don't think it was necessarily for me. I guess I should say what it was about. I don't really remember what it's about. I just know that, there's like a genie or something. I don't know. It didn't really stick with me, and yeah, so we're saying goodbye to her. Um, so someone else can enjoy her and maybe enjoy her more than I did. Oh yeah. Okay. Wild Things. I thrifted this. No, actually, no. My mom got me this, and it was very cute. And I thought it was a very thoughtful look at children's literature. And yeah, I thought it was very sweet. And I think it's time for someone else to kind of pick it up. Also, it kind of centered on the Wild Things. If you remember that book about the feral child. That was a story I liked as a kid. So there's that. Great Gatsby. This I have multiple copies of Great Gatsby just because I've had to read it so many times for school, and then so have my sisters. So we just have so many copies of Great Gatsby. Might as well get rid of one. We don't need that many copies. We don't need that many red flags on our shelves. So we're passing her on. Oh boy. Okay. Les Mis, the movie copy. So in middle school, I was obsessed with Les Mis, the movie, and I got really into the musical. Like, I did cross country, and I would listen to the Les Mis soundtrack while running. That's kind of insane. So I was really interested in getting the book, so I bought it. And then I had a substitute teacher that was like, "You might not be ready to read that yet." And he was so real for saying that, but I was so stubborn and I was like, "No, I'm going to read it." I made it through a couple chapters. I was not a mature enough reader to be handling Les Mis by Victor Hugo, but you know what? I've read Moby Dick twice now. I think I can handle her now. But I kind of want a better copy cuz as you'll see, I kind of am not the biggest fan of the movie versions of book copies. So yeah, I know. So this is for a completely aesthetic petty reason. I want to read Les Mis, just not. I just want a better copy. Yeah, I had to read this for English class in high school, Far From You, and oh, it definitely broke me back then, but it definitely broke high school me, if you understand my drift, because it is kind of a love triangle. Like she's in love with her friend, but then she's in love with her friend's brother. It kind of gets messy real fast, and then I forget the plot. I think it's like her friend, the main character's friend, like goes missing or dies or something, and so she's like dealing with grief and dealing with like these like unaddressed feelings that she had for her friend, but then also is projecting it on her friend's brother. So, yeah, and then it also dealt with addiction and stuff. It was like, I understand why our English teacher was like, let's have a bunch of teenagers read this, because it was the right amount of melodrama to like keep us engaged and like to make us finish the book. But yeah, I really liked it in high school. I think I would be kind of bleh about it now. So we're going to say goodbye. I don't know where this book came from. I think it might be one of my sisters, so I'm getting rid of it for her. She can watch this and tell me not to. So I actually might be interested in this. I'm reading the description now. It's about how America, we view ourselves as a Puritan nation, and it like explores the people that arrived here on the Mayflower and how their beliefs kind of influenced where we are today, which honestly sounds really interesting. I don't know. I might have to put this in the maybe pile as well. But I also think that maybe there's like, is this the best book for me to read about that? And is that a rabbit hole I want to go down right now? I don't know. I think it's just best to say goodbye. Goodbye. Okay. Um, I got this like for $2 at Barnes and Noble because I was going through like my psychology is so interesting phase. I haven't touched this book at all. And plus all my friends are psychology majors, so like everything in this I probably have a vague idea of already. And if I wanted to explore a concept, I think I would want a more detailed book instead of the 15-minute psychologist. What do I need to know in 15 minutes? Like, I might as well just like scroll on my TikTok feed and like watch those like TikTok therapists tell me like a fun fact or something. Like, it just seems like kind of like a candy book. So, bye. We don't need you. Ooh, okay. I loved her books when I was younger. Running Out of Time. Running Out of Time. I think this is the one where like, yeah, yeah, she lives in like a dystopian sort of like science project where like she's living in like early American 1600 sort of time or something. But really like she's in a museum exhibit in present day, and so she like escapes her like settlement to find out she's living in this simulation pretty much, and like she has to like go find a cure or something for the people in her museum exhibit because they're all getting sick, because of course they are. Interesting read when I was younger. I'm kind of curious about rereading like her books now. Like she also did the books Among the Hidden. She was kind of cooking, not gonna lie, with these book concepts. So, but it's time for someone else to have fun with that. Ooh, okay. Our Only May Amelia. This was a gift from my parents way back when, because they were like, "You're such a tomboy. You'll love this." Yeah, she may be a miracle, but she's no proper young lady. That was very subtle, mom and dad. It was kind of like fun. It was like Tom Sawyer for girls a little bit, where it's like, look at that little rapscallion little girl go off on her little country bumpkin adventures. It's time to move on from her. So goodbye. Oh, speak of the devil, here's Tom Sawyer. 3 for $9.99. I don't know where the other two are, but yeah, I've had enough Tom Sawyer in my life. I think we're okay. This is Stranger. I have not finished it. I bought it, I think, when I was in middle school, when I think it was advertised as kind of like a post-apocalyptic vibe, and I was a super big fan of the Maze Runner, and this sounded similar. Like I had bought it, I forgot about it, and then in high school I tried to read it, and it was kind of like, okay. So yeah, I think I was too late. I should have read it when I was in middle school or high school, early high school, but I just don't think it there's a reason for me to now. So I'm going to say goodbye. Bye. I do that for every book. You have to sit here and watch me say goodbye to all of them. Ooh, The Hot Zone. The Hot Zone. I read this for a biology class, and I think it kind of went over my head for the most part. But Stephen King really liked it. Um, I actually think I would find it pretty enjoyable now. I don't know. I don't really feel any need to reread it right now. And so yeah, I gotta make more room on my shelf for other things. So bye. Ooh. Okay, this is one I bought um a while ago. I think also like early, like I don't know when I bought it, but I got it, and I might still want to read it, but I don't really feel like it. I've read The Secret History by Donna Tartt, so like my dark academia needs, and I also read Babel by R.F. Kuang last year. My dark academia needs are satisfied. I like, and I've heard this is kind of like in comparison. Maybe I need to give her a try. Maybe I do, but I don't know. She's been sitting on my shelf for too long. I don't think I'm gonna pick her up anytime soon. So, bye, girl. Ah, The Handmaid's Tale. Okay, I liked this book. I think like thematically this book was super super strong, and like the purpose behind writing a book like this is, super clear. Like it's very effective at portraying some of these anxieties we have about where the future is headed in terms of like society policing women. However, like just as a story, or like as far as like getting invested in the characters, I can't remember the main character's name right now, but I was invested in the ideas. And but I think I'm kind of like, okay, like I've gotten what I need from this book, and I don't really need to like have it on my shelf. So thank you, Margaret Atwood, for this excellent piece of work. It's time for someone else to enjoy it. Who remembers this bad boy? I read it this year. Remarkably Bright Creatures. Yeah, I did this for a book club last year. I thought it was pretty enjoyable. It was a nice book club book. Very light. It was easy to read, very readable. I had a good time with this book, but I think it's time to be done. So bye-bye. Oh, nicotine. I read this book a while back. It was pretty good. It kind of explored like addiction and like how we tend to like have our thing that we reach for in times of stress and stuff. And clearly, this person's stress reliever was nicotine. No, but yeah, I kind of got what I got from it. I do want to read other books that kind of deal with addiction, maybe some more nonfiction in that way, just because I'm interested in the topic, and it's something that we all are gonna have to encounter in some way or another in our lives. So, yeah, nice little read, but getting rid of it. Night Circus. Night Circus was a dandy old time. I enjoyed the vibes of Night Circus immensely. I read this for book club, and we all really enjoyed chewing on kind of the mystery of this book. And like, really, this book is probably the best example I have of like reading just for atmosphere and vibes more so than like plot and characters. Like, the characters are memorable in this, um, but it's all very dreamy how this book is written, and there's something kind of nebulous about the characters. They're kind of hard to pin down, which kind of make them, they kind of blend into the environment really easily, the Night Circus. So I thought this was really a really, really great read. But I don't think I'm going to revisit it anytime soon. So bye bye. Screwtape Letters. Actually, I haven't read this yet, but I someone bought me another copy that's like bigger and better, so we're just getting rid of this one. So bye. Percy Jackson, Lightning Thief. This is again a movie copy cover that I'm not like super excited about. Plus, I have a new set of the Percy Jackson series that I'm currently going through, so I don't need her anymore. But she's a nice little artifact. of this old copy that I used to read. So that's cool. But bye bye. I probably should just trash this book as opposed to. No, I shouldn't do that. I really like this cover. My gosh, I read this 2 year last year. Yeah, last year, and it is very memorable. It's kind of like this fairy tale almost about just an old fisherman trying to catch a fish out in the sea. But yeah, this copy is gnarly. It is like the pages are falling out. So I think that she's not going to last much longer. So I might pass her on, or they might just toss it when I'm not looking, kind of thing, to whoever I donate this to. So yeah, so this is probably one of my favorite. No, actually, it's up there in terms of like what I enjoy from Hemingway. And I do really like the cover of this. Look at it again. Isn't she neat? But I think she's falling apart, so we gotta tell her goodbye. Ooh, World of Wonders. I did really enjoy this. There were two essays in particular that I remember kind of vividly that have stuck with me. One is the axolotl one, and the other one, let me try and remember. Clearly the scientific name of this plant didn't stick with me. But the story, yes, okay. The corpse flower. Look at that gnarly thing. Like, that was really interesting, and the essay she did on the corpse flower was really, really good. I don't really remember much of the other essays, and this is a very pretty book, and I think someone else will have a good time with that. Um, but yeah, it was pretty good, but I don't think I'm going to be revisiting it. Okay. Oh, okay. This is Big Magic by Elizabeth Gilbert. I did have a self-help era. Everyone boo. The self-help genre is pretty full of people that are just trying to make a quick buck, or they're like they have a good idea but they're spending way too long explaining the same kind of good idea. um I'll say Big Magic stood out as far as self-help books go because I think it wasn't afraid to it embraced the woo-woo-ness of belief and in this case creativity, and how there is something a very very I shouldn't do that, very magical about just creating art and having connections with other people. Apparently she's known for this big book called Eat Pray Love. I have not read that yet. Could be interesting. I think, I kind of got the message I needed to get from it. I read it at a time in my life where I really needed to read it and kind of engage more with the joy of creating. So that was good. But yeah, I wouldn't really go for this for like practical advice per se, but definitely like if you need someone to give you a shot of like espresso in terms of like spiritual excitement. Does that make sense? I don't know. I thought it was good. I'm passing it on. I'm just not going to show you every single high school book that I've owned. I think that's kind of a waste of time. So we're just going to go through kind of the highlights now. Okay, same thing here. Movie covers of The Lord of the Rings. These are okay copies, and I do want to reread Lord of the Rings. I haven't really thought about her since like high school, but I want better copies than this. I want to have there's so many nice Lord of the Rings copies out there that I can shop around for and like be full of joy whenever I see them on my shelves. These they're not bad. In fact, I think I like them better than the Percy Jackson one or the what other one, the Les Mis one, that are just like models and stuff. Like this actually is like, let me show you. This actually is pretty compelling. Like look at that. It's like, oh, it's the eye. What's there? And this, ooh, pretty. Like these are not bad copies at all actually. They're better ones. They're more interesting ones. So I think I'm going to get rid of these and maybe someone can give me a little gift one day. Womp womp. I bought this last year. I read this last year and I thought it was good. It was fine. Okay, so this book is about Shakespeare, right? And Shakespeare's family. It's kind of known that Hamnet is the name of Shakespeare's child that passed. And so Hamlet was written shortly after that child passed away. I think that's the right story. I'm going to have to. Yeah. Point is, there's a lot of speculation about Shakespeare's life. He's a very well known, guy, but we really don't know that much about him. So this is kind of like a fictional, like, imagining of, like, his home life, essentially. And there's a movie coming out with Paul Mescal. That's probably wrong. I thought the writing in this was very beautiful. At some point, it lost me. And I think it was mainly how, I don't know, the book kind of played into some, like, stereotypes about, like, the witchy woman who's, like, beyond comprehension. And then I just felt like it got super ungrounded from, like, the married relationship between Shakespeare and her. I had a good time with this book, and I finished it. I clearly thought a lot of it was pretty good, but I don't know, something was missing for me. It didn't give me enough, or it gave me too much. Who's to say? Okay, I'm sorry, Conafranta. I have to say goodbye. This was a book I read in high school, and it was great that I read it in high school, but I don't think I need to read it now. He resonated a lot with me when I was younger, so I was, like, interested in his story, and so I read it. And he clearly has a great eye. This is a very striking cover, with, like, his, I think he does photography now, if I'm not mistaken. Look at that. That's pretty. As far as, like, YouTuber books go, this is up there, I mean, I don't really remember much, not gonna lie, but, like, I think it's very impressive for anyone to, like, reflect on their life and give, like, a pretty honest account of their experiences. I hope Connor's doing well these days, honestly. I gotta get I gotta get I have to get rid of FNAF. Okay? I did read it, and it was a journey. But here's the thing. So I read this. This is definitely targeted towards children. It's so funny how the game has kind of, like, catered more to younger audiences, despite, like, the concept of the series being very, very violent and mature. So yeah, it's this was honestly, like, kind of wholesome. Like, it's just like a Scooby-Doo gang. They're investigating FNAF, and yeah, I go through, like, seasons with Five Nights at Freddy's where, like, I don't think about it, and then there will be a season that comes into my life again where I'm like, that's all I want to do is watch Matt Pat videos all day. Like, it scratches some, like, goblin part of my brain. I don't know. So there might be a day where I regret getting rid of this. But right now I'm like, the silver eyes? Girl, what does that mean? Anyways, yeah, so that was a little bit of what I'm getting rid of. There's a ton more. I'm too tired to go through them, so that's gonna be it. And actually, I think I'm more interested in talking about books that I actually like, am excited about. So I need to get back into doing that. Um, I'm reading Brandon Sanderson's Oathbringer right now. Isn't that sexy? Okay, bye.